Folks, welcome to Tabletop Tactics with myself, Lawrence, aka The Spider, and plant life himself, Mr. B-Bone.
It's me.
Also known as Ben.
Yeah.
I don't think I've called you Ben in a long time.
No, you call me lots of things. And it's often not B-Bone either.
It's often not B-Bone,
no.
and it's never put on the channel.
No, it's not.
So, what we have today is a special. It's a backstage with a brand new army to the channel, an army which I had commissioned, created from the pits of my imagination, the Flesh Tearers. So we've just had them freshly painted and delivered by none other than Fletcher's Painting. So I'm going to leave a link to his Instagram below in the description. He's done an incredible job on this army, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's good. It's good he's like, working on giving us armies and trying to steal them from us.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Because, he sort of
keeps coming after my Space Wolves.
He lent us, he says, the Space Wolves, his Space Wolf army, but actually it was a donation.
Yeah,
so
and quite frankly,
never getting them back,
I'm not even sure he painted it. Like, I'm pretty sure I painted it.
Oh, obviously.
And I made it all from scratch.
Claimed.
Yeah, he claims.
He painted it.
Yeah, but he did it. It's all mine.
Can you believe that guy?
Fletcher.
Anyway, if you want to get a commission with him, you
should.
You could, you can get in contact.
He's very good.
Yeah, absolutely incredible work. You can hit him up on Instagram directly. So, with no further ado, I've prepared a list of questions that you're going to ask me.
Yes,
isn't that hilarious?
I've had to practice them.
Yeah. Because you're going to see a lot of images of the Flesh Tearers coming up in this backstage video, but you're going to see it's a massive collection, and there's still perhaps more to come. I'm sure we'll cover that in some detail. So with no further ado, we'll let you ask me these questions, shall we?
Well, let's start with the first one, and it is a pretty obvious one. So why the Flesh Tearers? Tearers? That's what I'm sitting on. Tearers.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, the Blood Angels are pretty cool, right?
They are.
And I quite like the Blood Angels. Yeah. And then there's these Flesh Tearer guys, which seem kind of like bad people.
Oh, bad is a point of view.
All right, so go on then. Here we go.
Okay, why the Flesh Tearers? So, well, truth be told, Sanger did the Blood Angels before me, so I got stuck with the Flesh Tearers. So initially, when I first started playing Warhammer 40,000, Blood Angels were the first army that I ever painted.
Yeah.
So I got the second edition Warhammer 40,000 box set with the amazing cover art, and back then they had the White Dwarfs and they had Erasmus Tycho.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I got that second edition box set, and I painted the Marines as Blood Angels.
Yeah.
And I was really inspired by the White Dwarfs battle reports that Jervis Johnson and Andy Chambers, the legends, used to fight. Jervis Johnson always lost. He basically lost every single time.
He's my spirit animal.
Yeah, Andy Chambers always won. Anyway, they had Erasmus Tycho, and actually the story of Erasmus Tycho, who back then had the Golden Mask model, he was like an old second edition model, and then they updated him. That actually came about in a White Dwarf, because his head got blasted with like a weird boy attack, like equivalent of a smite these days.
That's very cool.
It was really cool. Anyway, that's how the story came about. And I just thought the Blood Angels were really cool, but as a young lad, I didn't really understand like how dark and sinister the chapter was.
Yeah. That
they've got this flaw, but I really liked the idea because the poster boys were still kind of Ultramarines at this point.
Oh, mine were Ultramarines.
Yeah, right.
That's what I sat down in GW and they said, right, well, what color do you like? I said, I don't know. He goes, what about blue? It's like they would push. They would always kind of.
Of course.
It was pushed on me. And I love the Ultramarines.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I never used to actually, and we've had this discussion before.
Yeah.
I was like, well, the Ultramarines kind of a bit boring. That's what I always, felt, to be honest.
They're like the Roman centurions in space.
Well, that's it. I did the Gaius War campaign, and I was like, these guys are really badass. I really love the Ultramarines now. There is a stoicism to them. As you say, the Roman centurion style theme is actually really, really cool. But I was naturally, as people know, I'm the villain on the channel.
Yes.
I'm just naturally attracted to the dark things, I guess.
Yeah. I get it.
And this floor, I remember going into the local games workshop and people say, "Oh, the Blood Angels, they've got an unpleasant side." And that, for me, as a child, I was like, "This is amazing." And so, of course, I painted them red.
Yeah.
Not really understanding too much more. And then as I grew older and I really got into the sort of fluff and the lore and I understood it better, I was like, these guys are basically vampires.
Yeah.
But what's really cool about the Blood Angels, and don't worry, we'll get onto the Flesh Terrors, but you can't talk about the Flesh Terrors without talking about the Blood Angels.
You can't.
Because the Flesh Terrors are an extreme.
Yeah.
But what's happened with the Blood Angels is they are amazing, in my opinion, and their fluff and lore is incredible because they have to be noble despite their flaw.
Yeah.
It's your classic flawed hero.
Yeah.
That's my favorite archetype, the flawed hero.
Yeah.
This is why I never got on board with Superman, because he doesn't really have any flaws.
Kryptonite.
Other than kryptonite. But the guy is just really nice the whole time.
He's a nice fella.
But you've got no conflict, so therefore it's less interesting to watch, which is why I think a lot of the Superman films didn't work. Apart from the originals, which strangely do.
Yeah, they're great. It's a different time, isn't it?
It's a different time.
Yeah.
It's a different time.
Yeah, the rousing music and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it is different. Good. But you know what? I think we're going off tangent, but this is Backstage. This is what we're like.
Yeah.
So, I think the Zack Snyder Superman films kind of did work, and I like Henry Cavill. I think he's great.
Yeah.
But it's a tough character to portray well, I think.
Yeah.
Just because they tried to make him darker, didn't they? They tried to have like a bit of grit.
Yeah.
With this, I could see what he was trying to do, but Superman he's not Wolverine. Like Wolverine's got so much to work with already. There's so many layers there for the character, and it's easy to put him on screen. He's going to be interesting.
Logan was just one of my favorite films.
Yeah, I think for me to date, that's probably sort of best superhero film I've seen. Logan.
Yeah, that then close Kick-Ass one.
Oh, your Kick-Ass one is amazing. Anyway, we're definitely
we're really going off topic now.
So the Blood Angels, they have to be, they have to be the Emperor's devout servants, and they have to be champions of mankind, despite this horrible flaw.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that they might fall to the Death Company, they may or may not end up killing some innocents along the way.
Bit of Black Rage.
It happens.
Yeah.
So what are the Flesh Terrors? Well, the Flesh Terrors are the extreme of that.
They love it.
Well, they have a very large standing death company. That is certain. They tend to fall faster than the Blood Angels, and they're led by this maniac called Gabriel Seth.
Yeah.
And he's there's this great line in the Blood Angels Codex where I forget who it is. I think it's actually Dante that says it to him, where they're fighting for Baal against the Tyranids.
Yeah.
And they're having a war meeting, and he says that you foster discord, Seth. You sort of revel in it, and he loves conflict. He thrives on it. That's his thing. And I think actually, truth be told, like any true warrior does, they are warriors because they actually enjoy the combat, truth be told, despite the fact that they should be fighting to stop there being any need for fighting. The truth be told that Seth enjoys tearing people's heads off. Yeah.
So what you're saying is you've chosen the Flesh Terrors because it's like a slight step to the left from Drakari.
Yes. We have to bear in mind that I painted...
So you just kind of went like this.
Yeah,
hey!
It's my comfortable space.
Yeah, it's a nice. Hey, we all need a comfort zone.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I painted the initial World Eaters army, so I love Khorne as well, right? The Flesh Terrors are just on that line, and if you know the 30k fluff and the heresy fluff that Khorne absolutely did try and make Sanguinius fall and bring him over.
Imagine if that had happened.
Oh, Sanguinius is like a demon prince ascended. With demon Primarch would be horrific. But you see, that's what's so good, because ultimately I am a good guy and I want the good guys to win.
Yeah.
But Sanguinius went onto the battle barge. He went to face Horace himself, knowing that he probably couldn't win. Because he's got the gift of foresight.
So yeah, there's the whole theory that he foresaw the whole thing and went anyway.
But he knew it would buy him enough time for the Emperor to arrive. And well, I won't say what happened next. I mean, you know,
in case you're new,
in case you're not aware of
what happened. A quick Google search will bring that up for you.
We'll ruin that entire story for you.
Yeah.
But you know, the fact of the matter is, he did defeat the rage within. He didn't fall to Khorne. He did rise up, and he did ultimately take on Horus by himself.
Yeah.
Which is just absolutely badass. I still contest that he would have beaten Horus if Horus wasn't gifted with all of this extra bling from the Chaos Gods. But you know, that's many people would disagree with that. I think Sanguinius was absolutely vicious.
Yeah, he was
absolutely vicious.
Yeah. I mean, he was no Leman Russ.
I know. This is the thing. A lot of people think that Leman Russ was probably the best in combat, don't they? That would have been an interesting fight.
Yeah.
Be an interesting. A lot of the Primarchs would be an interesting fight. Yeah. That's why they're so cool, right? Because you just end up going, well, who would win?
Yeah.
Who would win? Obviously, Horus was probably.
He was the best all-rounder.
He was the best all-rounder.
But like also, he was just it wasn't like one of those all-rounders which wasn't a master of none. He was just a master of everything.
Yes, he really was.
Whereas the other guys, bar a few of them. So I mean, I think Sanguinius is a great example of that. Like he as well was a great all-rounder, but those two actually, as an antithesis to each other, are super interesting because Horus fell, whereas Sanguinius really had all of the right things to fall as well and didn't. And so it's... And
in fact, it should have been Sanguinius that did, because technically he was touched by the Chaos Gods, right? Yeah. He had the mutation.
Yeah.
He had the wings. That was actually an effect of being exposed to the warp. The Chaos Gods wanted that.
Yeah.
But he didn't fall in the end. But again, that makes the story so cool,
very
right?
Cool.
So when you take it to the extreme, we come full circle here and we go to the Flesh Tearers, all of a sudden, they're battling this rage which is within them, based on the psychic scream that Sanguinius let out when he was killed.
Yeah.
And it's at the forefront, and they're constantly having to suppress it. And then what I thought was, because initially I wanted to do Blood Angels, because as you can tell, I like the Blood Angels a lot. I thought, what better a tragic hero or a flawed hero, bunch of heroes, than to just do the Flesh Tearers.
Yeah.
It's an amazing colour scheme. You know, it's dark and visceral, which I like. And on top of that, I think the story is just immense. And it was really reinforced for me because I wanted to do a Primaris themed, which I know some hardcore Flesh Terror players would be like, you can't do that, we've only got normal Marines. But with the updated fluff, he did get a whole boost, reinforcements of Primaris, which to be honest was a good thing, because the fluff was going before that the Flesh Terrors would just not exist in 100 years. So they basically had no one left. Yeah. All of their companies are decimated. You know, so this gives you the opportunity to carve out your own story.
Yeah,
so I was
which is always good when you make it.
It is good, yeah. So now I can become my own characters and all Primaris.
Yeah, so tell us more. So that's the kind of theme around it. And so how does that convey to the army itself as far as conversions and painting style and all that sort of stuff?
Okay, sure. So so I'd already started to get a theme together. I knew that I wanted them to be Primaris. I saw this as being, you know, the reinforcements, a reinforcement company. And I wanted to try and, it's a pretty tricky with the Primaris range right now, because you don't actually have like jump pack units. You've got things like suppressors and you've got things like inceptors, but you don't have like combat assault units, which would really categorize or be the sort of classic example, if you like, of who Blood Angels and Flesh Tearers would usually use. So I knew I was going to have to get a bit inventive with that. And I knew I wanted to use Death Company, and I knew I wanted to use Sanguinary Guard, because these are classic units. Yeah. And I thought I could do something quite interesting with the colour scheme. So I made up some conversions in my mind, and then I bought the models, and then I was actually set to start painting them at some point. And then this was approximately, I think we're approaching a year that this project, you know,
Oh, you've been banging on about it forever.
And it suddenly I came to the realization that I was never going to be able to paint this army. It was just never going to happen. I really wanted to, I really wanted, because I actually do like painting my own stuff, but it was just never going to happen. The running of this channel is more than a job. It's a lifestyle, and it's put it this way, it's not 40 hours a week. It's a lot more. So there is no other time. So I decided very begrudgingly to outsource this to Fletcher. So that meant that I basically had to really dial in the color scheme. I know, Fletcher of all people. Anyway, he did an okay job. Yeah. So what I decided to do is I wanted to explore like the 3 shades of the army.
Yeah.
And by that I mean you've got kind of like your sanguinary section, your sanguinary wings. You've got things like sanguinary priest, sanguinary ancient, the sanguinary guard, and they're like very ornate. But I figured that with flesh terrors we can make them really sinister, because these guys they're not as ornate. They're much more Spartan in many ways than the Blood Angels are.
Yeah.
Just that's what the fluff of the flesh terrors are. It's a lot more functional, savage. Whereas the Blood Angels will kill you very gracefully.
Yeah.
Until they fall to the Black Rage, then it's not graceful anymore.
Sure.
So you know,
there's nothing graceful about it.
No, not drinking your blood.
No.
It's bad. It's real bad.
Yeah.
So anyway, I decided that you'd have the Sanguinary Guard, which would be kind of your flawed heroes. There'll be like the noble wing. You have your Death Company, which are fallen. So you've got your light.
So they're like
your
super
dark,
fallen.
Super fallen.
Yeah.
And then you've got your standard red wing, if you like, of the Flesh Terror color scheme, which are something in between. Or they ascend to the lights of the Sanguinary Brotherhood, or they fall to the darkness of the Death Company. So that was my theme. So I thought, right, well, how can I convey that in the painting? So we've got a Flesh Terror scheme. I knew I wanted really high contrast, so I got Fletcher to do some experimentation on getting that really interesting lighter contrast of the red, but with really deep dark burgundy, which almost goes to black.
Yeah.
And I think he's done an amazing job on that. And then I wanted it to be a bit like that functional sort of chipping, which Fletcher does really well with the edge highlighting there. So you've got all of those sort of flecks where perhaps a shell has hit the armor or whatever. And a tyrannic claw has rendered, a piece of the carapace or something. So I wanted that, and we locked in the basic Flesh Terror scheme quite quickly. He just Fletcher nailed it.
Yeah.
But I wanted the Sanguinary Brotherhood and the Death Company Brotherhood to be stark contrasts, the opposites of each other, the real light and shade. I knew that I didn't want the Sanguinary Guard to be gold, because I don't personally feel that would fit the theme of my Flesh Terrors force.
Sure.
I wanted it to be quite specific. So I thought, and the Death Company, you can't get darker than black, right? So if you could have little bits of red in there, but that was kind of fixed. So I started with converting the models. I was like, well, how can I make a Primaris Death Company Marine, but I want to use the rules for the regular Death Company, because of course I want to give them jump packs. Of course I do. Not just because of rules, because actually the Death Company Intercessors can be good now, but because it looks cool. And to not have the jump infantry in a Blood Angels or Flesh Terrors force just feels wrong.
Not right.
Yeah, it's not why you're playing them, really. No. You're playing them to jump across things, get up the table quickly. So I was like, right, well, I think the Phobos bodies can work quite well. So I went for the Reaver kit, because of course they've got the skull helmet, which indicates death. It's a great helmet. There's plenty of conversions online of people using Reaver helmets on Death Company because it looks cool for like a Primaris Intercessor or whatever. I hadn't really found too many which had upscaled from the Death Company Marine to make like with the jump pack.
Sure.
You could take the Death Company jump packs and just whack them on a Primaris Marine. The fit's actually really good, but
scale wise,
well, no, it does work. It does work. The scale works. You can literally just put a jump pack on a Primaris Marine, and it will work.
Okay.
But it wasn't going to be an invert of the Sanguinary Guard, who I knew had those feathered wings.
Sure.
The angel wings. It would look too different.
Right.
So I did a bit of exploring, and I discovered the Raven Wing. I forget what the name. I think they're called. I forget the name of the unit now. But basically,
What's the unit do?
They're a 30k heresy unit.
Oh, okay. I can't help you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I can't. They've got a specific name, but they're Raven. They're Raven Guard specific units.
Right.
And they've got these. Well, they're supposed to be like Raven Wings.
Yeah.
But these Raven Wing jetpacks with these horrible sort of sharp wings.
Oh.
Yeah, which they're just really cool jump packs, let's be honest. And then they've actually got a single jet like the Sanguinary Guard do, but it sort of stoops forward, which makes it a bit beak-like.
Okay.
I didn't end up using that component. What I ended up doing was taking the Sanguinary Guard base single jetpack, and then instead of putting the feathered wings on the Death Company, I put these bladed wings on.
Right.
Because it made it look like a fallen version of the Sanguinary. I wanted it to be opposite, right? So I was like, oh, well, we could do these blades white, and then the feathers on the Sanguinary Guard could be black. So I wanted it to be sort of an invert of each other.
Sure.
So that's what I found for the jump packs. Had the Reaver helmets, and then when I was looking at the Phobos bodies, the Reaver bodies, they've got on their abdominal armor, they don't have any plating. So they've got their Under Armour suit on show.
Sure.
And across the theme of the Blood Angels, especially on characters, but things like the Death Company Chaplain and Mephiston, they've got this like sinew armour.
Yeah.
You know, little patches of it. The Death Company Chaplain with jump pack is a good example of that. And I was like, well, this undersuit could be painted that way. And I thought, well, this could be quite interesting. Because Flesh Tearers and this whole thing about the layers of what's going on beneath the surface is this horrible, you know, what's underneath the skin. They've got all of this rage and all of this huge flaw. And I was like, well, what if they wear their undersuit as like, as a thing which is deliberately horrifying.
Right.
As something to scare, to terrify their enemies. And so I pictured, well, what if they put this, they had their undersuits were sinew armor. Which I thought would be really sinister and horrible. It's supposed to be unsettling. It's not supposed to be nice. And
it doesn't sound nice.
No, and I figured that they would probably lacquer it with oil mixed with blood, the blood of perhaps their fallen brothers. Yeah, something really horrible. There's a ritual.
It's chaos.
It's not chaos.
It sounds pretty close to chaos.
We serve the Emperor.
Look, you're treading a fine line. I'm just saying, there's an Inquisition around somewhere. They're going to look at that and go...
You know what? It's funny you say that. They've been after the Flesh Tearers for some time.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, I don't blame them.
No.
But this is the sort of thing which would go on, I feel. It's got to be that extreme. But these guys... And also, the Death Company are maniacs, basically. I figured that they would do that, and they would probably mix this oil and blood on their undersuit, and then they put their armor plates on over it, on top of it. The skull helmet goes on, the green eyes glow, light up. You could make a great film sequence out of this. You
could do it.
And I thought, well, let's do that. So I said to Fletcher, look, I want you to paint that like it's exposed sinew. And he absolutely nailed it. It really looks like it is.
Cool.
Now this brings us to the Sanguinary Guard.
Yeah.
So the Sanguinary Guard also used the Reaver bodies because I wanted them to be the same but not the same.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, the Sanguinary helmets, the death masks, should probably fit on those Reaver bodies quite well.
Yeah.
As it turned out, they did. Mm-hmm. So all of a sudden they've got the death masks, the Death Company have the skull masks, but the bodies are the same. And then I used the actual Sanguinary Guard jump packs with black feathered wings. And then the arms, I did have to do some cutting and clipping and in some cases some green stuffing to extend them. But the arms generally fitted quite well on the Primaris body, which is odd because the Sanguinary Guard are an older kit. It is a smaller scale. But if you look at their weapons, they're huge on them. So they're actually almost Primaris scale weapons on a small marine body. Actually, in my opinion, it actually looks better on a Primaris body. But anyway, that's just what I think.
Yeah.
And so for me then, the colour choice was simple because I was like, right, we'll keep the Under Armour the same. They've all got this same ritual.
Yeah.
Both the Brotherhoods are just, inverted of each other.
Yeah.
So
it's just, one like took it a bit too far.
Yeah.
And the other one went, well, that's enough painting for today.
Correct.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I also knew, having painted the World Eaters, back when I did that first bit, is that blood splatter on white armor not only looks really good and striking, it looks sinister and it looks mean.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, if you can have that effect on the Sanguinary Guard, it's going to be a winner.
Yeah, it's going to be cool.
So white armor for the Sanguinary Guard with black masks and the black feathered wings, and then the Death Company, black armor with the white skull face and the white wings, and there it is. That was the light and the dark.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So that's how I sort of came up with it, and Fletcher just nailed it.
Well done, Fletcher.
Yeah, well done, Fletcher.
Well done, Fletcher.
Yeah.
Fletcher. That's cool, man. So, like, of all of the units that you've put, or Fletcher and yourself have put together, like, what's your favorite? What's the one that you go, yeah?
I mean, obviously, I love the Sanguinary Guard and the Death Company.
Yeah.
I do. They're probably, I don't have a favourite of either of them. I suppose the characters, I did like the characters together as an ensemble. And I really enjoyed converting the captain. Iodin Bale, his name is.
Iodin.
Yeah. So he's an absolute savage.
Okay.
I did use the Cave and Shrike model for him.
Right.
And I actually, truth be told, bought several Cave and Strikes because I wanted his jump pack. So I used his jump pack across all of the main cast. So we've got the Librarian, we've got the Lieutenant, we've got the Chaplain, we've got the Sanguinary Priest, Sanguinary Ancients. The Sanguinary Priest was a trickier conversion. I did need to green stuff his leg. I wanted to sort of make it look like he was just descending.
Yeah.
Fletcher did a great paint job on him. But the captain, that was a tricky one because I've got a Flesh Terror symbol on his chest, and Cave and Shrike has the Raven Guard symbol on his chest.
Yeah.
So I had to scalpel that off. I then got the Flesh Terror symbol from the backpack of Gabriel Seth.
Right.
Which was fine cast. And I had to basically finally scalpel that off. It took 2 hours just for that one little symbol swap. But the Cave and Shrike body pose is pretty good already. He's perched on that concrete slab, yeah. And then I just needed to do the arm swaps, really. Get a storm shield from the Terminator squad. Putting the jump pack on him made him look quite beefy as well, which is good. And then an Eviscerator from the Assault Marine kit. And after some posing and some snipping of hands and changing positions and all that sort of jazz, he came to life. And he was actually inspired by an awesome Flesh Terror painter on Instagram.
Oh yeah.
Now I'm going to leave his handle below as well. I can't pronounce it, so I won't say it. But you should absolutely give him a follow because his captain inspired mine. And he's an awesome dude, great painter. You should definitely follow his account if you like Flesh Terror stuff. But once I had that base for the captain, the Lieutenant and the Librarian, and then the Chaplain, who's got that whole Death Company thing going on. I used some parts from the Death Company Chaplain. So to answer your question, which one's my favourite? Probably is the captain.
Yeah.
I think Iodin Bale is just an absolute weapon.
Yeah.
But I love them all. I think as an ensemble, the characters. I think the characters in general, I won't go into all of their names and fluff here because I'll do perhaps a separate video on that. But they all appear in Crusade. They're all named. You can go check out the Instagram feed to see their names. But yeah, they're a savage cast.
A savage cast.
Savage cast.
I love it. I love it. That sounds very good.
Yeah.
So it's pretty fleshed out.
I see what you did there. Yeah.
This army.
Yeah.
But are there any more expansions you're looking at doing?
Yeah, 100%. So we've got, I mean, you would have seen pretty much most appear throughout this video.
This is the other thing as well. Why some of you are going, obviously Bone Sea. I haven't seen it. So I'm quite excited.
No.
Like we decided to do this first as like a big reveal, and then we're going to go, I'm actually going to get to go look at it now. So it's very cool.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Yeah, I mean, the characters, we'll cycle through them as we were talking about this, but they're all really special. They all have a lot. They've all been converted, some majorly converted, some not. But they've all got a lot of character, I feel, and they feel very Flesh Terror like to me.
Fleshed out.
Yeah, fleshed out.
Yeah.
But what I'm missing is that middle shade, the red, the standard flesh terrors. So whilst we've got a lot of inceptors in the list, we've got a lot of things like suppressors, we've got assault intercessors, impulsors, you know, outriders, a lot of assault, basically elements which are going to be fast moving and able to get into combat. And I've got Redemptor Dreadnoughts and Invicta Warsuits.
Yeah, I love
you
it.
know,
I love an Invicta.
Yeah, it gives me lots of different ways to play the army. I also got 30 incursors. So you can do like an incursor spam army, which is pretty nasty for like scoring points and stuff. It is, yeah. I've got some competitive lists. I've got some ultra competitive lists, one of which I would consider like, I would take it to a GT and expect to do well, sort of thing.
Yeah.
One of which we're going to do a video on,
Yep.
list analysis. I think this is going out on YouTube, so hello. The list analysis will be over on our website, over on demand, so go check that out if you're an on-demand subscriber. If not, check it out. You know, but the expansion I'm missing is kind of like an honor guard for Bale himself.
Right.
And I came up with this concept of Bale's Butchers.
No, you can't call them that.
Yes, I can. Oh, yes. Oh. Iron Bale's Butchers.
Oh, no.
And so what that means is
They're fallen. They're fallen already.
Well, the Death Company have fallen. The Bale's Butchers.
These guys are Death Company. They just put on different armor. Listen.
Who can say? Who can say?
Don't.
So.
Don't sit there just telling me this nonsense.
So Fletcher's already agreed to this. Second phase is coming. And what we've got is when the Sanguinary wing is at home and the Death Company wing is at home.
They bring along these...
Yeah, if I just wanted to run like, you know, all red and black army, for example. What I've got is a unit of 10 Vanguard veterans, which I'm converting up. They're looking really good. I've got all of the bits and so forth. They've all got a single Lightning Claw, a Storm Shield, and then the Sergeant has an Eviscerator, which I can use as like a Relic Blade or a Power Fist or a Thunder Hammer.
Sure.
And they've all got jump packs. And I will use the standard Vanguard Veteran and Blood Angel Death Company jump packs. Not that they're Death Company or anything. And this squad of Butchers will escort Iron Bale around. So I'm really looking forward to running that. And a certain competitive list may be running that, the Death Company and the Sanguinary Guard in a triple threat.
In a triple threat. It's just interesting because, you know, I obviously play a lot of World Eaters.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's literally a stratagem called the Red Butchers.
Yeah. What a coincidence.
It's not. It's chaos in disguise. You're a Decepticon. That's what you are.
Well, you know, the bad guys always have the best lines.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's not always true. Caveat. But nonetheless.
I just had like this list of great lines that just went through my head. And it was like 50-50.
In Star Wars, generally the bad guys have the best lines.
Star Wars.
Vader has some of the best lines.
Oh, yeah,
the Sith tend to have the best lines.
Oh, yeah.
The Jedi do a lot of being noble.
Yeah, well, they are. They're noble.
Which is all well and good, but that only goes so far.
It does.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So look, I've got Bale's Butchers coming, and we are going to do some extra add-ons as well. Probably things like repulsors and repulsor executioners, just for fun, just for different ways to run it. I'm adding some more assault intercessors into the mix, including sergeants with eviscerators.
Yeah.
Just because it goes with, you can't technically have an eviscerator, guys, on a Primaris model, which is a shame. But the great thing is when you convert something, you can count it as something else, right? So
yeah.
That actually becomes really useful. If I don't have the points for a Thunder Hammer, I'll take it as a Power Fist, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've got some extra elements coming. I think the Butchers will be a special one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing.
They're going to look good.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to play you with this army multiple times, Mr. Bale.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, I'm quite looking forward to it. I think with armies like Death Guard and stuff, it'll be a really interesting matchup.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love to run the World Eaters against them. However, I just think that the disparity in power at this point, given where we are with the codexes, wouldn't be
It's not.
great.
It's not as fair.
It's not. It's. I just think you'll absolutely steam. I'd give it a red hot go.
Well, to be fair as well, like I don't always. That's why I've gotten such a large force initially, because obviously we make battle reports here on the channel, and I wanted to run it so that it doesn't. It's not only going to be ultra competitive, although I certainly will run it ultra competitively in our new league report series coming soon. But I want to have fun stuff as well, like, you know, just a couple of some assault. And I don't have to run the Sanguinary Guard or the Death Company or even the Butchers every time. No. I've got enough to just, you know, do basically a Primaris army, but with a Flesh Terror tag on it. But at the same time, that will tone it down a lot more. Yeah, and we can have some fun games with that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm getting pretty good with the World Eaters.
Well, you are actually. Yeah. You are actually getting good with the World Eaters. Yeah. I've taken notice a couple of times. Like, well, this is getting interesting.
Yeah. Listen, my tactical prowess is underappreciated sometimes.
I would agree with that statement. Actually, I would agree with that statement. I think often because you've played me and I've just been playing 40k a lot longer than you, people can underestimate where your skill level is at, because actually you pit you
heard it here first.
Well, pit you against most average players, and actually
I'll destroy them.
You would destroy them. Yeah, it's true. It's funny how things work. You know, it's interesting. You can look at something in a vacuum, but actually when you put it into a wider playing field, you know, you're playing in a very small pool with some small sharks and some big sharks. Yeah. But it's a very small pool.
It's very small.
You know, if
it's four of us.
What would you be like if you swam out in the open ocean?
I think I would become a whale shark.
Okay.
No, that's eat plankton because I'm a plant.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
So look, that's the Flesh Terror.
That's it.
I mean, you know.
That's it. Well, look, I'm very excited to go look at them now.
Yeah.
Because you've been banging on about them.
I have.
You've been talking about them for a year. So it's a very big celebration day here in the studio. The theme is really cool, man, and the color scheme. I've seen some of it. Like, the color scheme is really cool. It's well imagined. And, you know, I like to give grief to Fletcher, but he has done a brilliant job. And when you can find someone who you can work with, who can actually put your vision onto models, or, you know, I mean, that's in any field, right? But, like, it's a really good thing. So he, you know, thumbs up, mate. Well done.
Thank you.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's the end of the questions that you asked me to ask you.
Yeah, I think that, you know, I'm sure these guys will leave some comments below. And
please do. None for me.
None for you.
Just all for Lawrence. No questions for me. I'm not taking any questions at this time.
No.
But yeah, I can't wait to play against them. So we should do that next week.
We're scheduled to do it next week. So that's what's going to happen.
It's going to be really cool.
Looking forward to it.
Cool, man. Well, look. Unless you have anything else to say?
No, I think we've done that. I'm sure. Let us know if you like these sorts of videos. We can do other showcase videos in the future. Yeah. About all sorts of things.
Yeah. Well, look, this has been me, the Bone, you, the Spider. Thank you for coming on my show today.
Thank you.
I hope you really. I hope you come back again.
Okay, great.
You've been a great guest.
Yeah, thanks.
That's all right.
It's good. Does the guest usually write the questions, or?
It was a first, but I allowed it.